Welcome to Smart Investor Talk, where we break down smart investment strategies beyond just real estate. I'm Meghna, an off-plan specialist and real estate expert in Dubai. I have over a decade of real estate experience in London and came to Dubai to diversify my portfolio and invest in off-plan property myself. I mainly deal with overseas investors, finding them the right strategy to grow their portfolio. And I'm here with my co-host, Lakhi, a seasoned entrepreneur, financial markets expert, an investor, and mentor. He's built multiple successful ventures globally, and today we're going to dive into what it takes to build a smart investment portfolio, the power of diversification, and how investors can make better financial decisions in today's markets. Lakhi, you've built businesses in different industries and markets while staying actively involved in trading and investing. How do you manage it all?
Oh, thanks, Mac. Nice to be here, and thank you for the introduction and amazing things you are doing as well. It's been a long journey. It's been a while, and trust me, I've seen a lot of up and downs in journey, but it starts from somewhere. So my journey started with as a trader. So beside my job, I started learning about financial market because over time I learned that the only one source of income is not sufficient. You know, when you're in your days, you need that.
We all know that
feeling. Because there was a time when one source of income was everything. But after a time period, you realize it's not everything. You need something else prior to what you're doing. So I learned that trading was my first exposure. And from there, I went to the other sectors. Being an IT graduate, learned technology side and merged technology into financial sector, then a real estate side. So everything started from there. But one thing I realized is you need to have a diversification. You know, like you need to diversify your portfolio. You can't be just rely on one thing. Your investment is one side. Your asset is the another side. So you need to balance out your investment, where to invest, how to invest, and when to invest. So you should be understanding these factors before you can do anything else.
So many sources of income, but then obviously the risk as well, spreading the risk. So
everything comes with a risk. There is no safety cool, everything's safe. Everything comes with a risk, but how to manage that risk, that's the most important thing. That comes with your discipline.
No, that sounds really interesting.
And also, Mac, I always see in business like building a pillar. It's like your foundation. If your foundation is strong, your structure will be well organized. So pillars is your business, your real estate, your investing. They are pillars. So if you invest wisely, where to invest, how to invest, your foundation will always be strong. So I think that's one of the most factors people don't understand about their pillars.
That makes sense.
This is something I would do. I know my pillars and I will diversify my pillars so that I have strong foundation.
No, that makes sense. Let's dive into that today.
Yeah.
So a lot of investors think they need to stick to what they know. Some only do stocks, some only real estate, but you talk a lot about smart diversification. Can you tell us the importance of this?
It's important actually in a way. It's a mindset. It's a very common thing for people to understand, okay, we are okay, we're happy with one source of income, we're happy with one job, because they are comfortable with that. But you need to understand, you need to come off from your comfort zone. All these wealthy people, what they have in common is they like taking risk. They like coming out from their comfort zone. If you want wealth around you, wealth doesn't like comfort. To have comfort, you need to put an effort first. That's what we always say. You have to diversify your income streams. You need to build something on the side by. It doesn't matter you're working or you're not working. If you're working, build something on a side by.
Not only that, growth comes from being uncomfortable. So
Correct.
Not only growth, but I mean,
and at the same time, what investors are doing, a smart investor, wealthy people are doing, they diversify income streams in multiple sectors.
Of course.
Why do they do that? Because they know that if they put everything in one sector, there's a risk of that.
But how do you know, obviously learning, how do you know about everything? You know, there's only so much time in a day. there's only so much brain
It's planning.
space.
It's planning. It's like, to-do list. You have to plan. It starts from your routine, basically, because the way I do, every single day, I plan my day. I plan my week. And that's the habit. It starts from your habit.
Yes. Of course.
Like your habit is very important. To start with your habit, like what you should be doing on a daily basis. Your morning routine, your work schedule, where you should be putting time for something new as well. If you're building a business, like you're working 9 to 5, okay, you go other few hours left after that. Rather than wasting your time watching TV or Netflix, why don't you invest time into something new?
And just to add to that, in terms of, do you think it's important to be passionate about the thing in terms of real estate, financial markets, or is it just the chase to...
It's very important. I'm passionate about everything. I'm passionate about real estate. I'm passionate about my forex trading, financial market. But you should pick what you're passionate about. I started with forex because I was passionate about that.
Love it, yeah.
Even in the IT sector, I love technology because it comes with that. So passion was there. Tech passion was there. So real estate with that, because it's tech driven again.
Of course.
So it's a passion, of course. When your passion become your profession, it's the best thing.
I'm just saying, in terms of investors watching, or if they are, not passionate, but they want to obviously have financial gains.
Even if there is no passion, you need to build something in common.
Yeah.
Start somewhere.
No, that makes sense.
Start somewhere, and you will see the success in that. And this is what wealthy people do. And there's another thing you should understand is you should understand the meaning of cash flow and your liquidity. Because even if there is a passion or you're learning something new, pitch that together, where your cash flow is, where your liquidity is. You're building something on a side now. But meaning of cash flow is if you're putting everything in one sector, let's say you put everything in one industry, property. If tomorrow you need something, instant cash, instant money, property needs time to sell it.
Of course.
So that's a part of your risk management.
Yeah.
Another side is, let's example, you put everything in financial market, or you bought some stock, and overnight, if there is a big drop in the market, you screwed again.
Yeah. So it's spreading your risk, and obviously you were saying not putting all your eggs in one basket.
That's called smart investment. The meaning of smart investment is to diversify in a way. You need to understand where your cash flow is. You need to understand where your liquidity is. Which one is a long term? Which one is a short term?
Sure. They all have
so
different
exit
strategies. No, it makes sense. So you talk about diversification. So how would you diversify?
It's a simple formula for me. The way I would do is 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay.
I know it's funny that what's 40, 30, 30, 20. The 40% of my investment will go to an asset like real estate, because I know it's been there from centuries. It will always be there. That's my maximum return I'm gonna get, because that's secure. Because you invest in traditional style. Then 30% I will invest into financial market, because there is a growth. It's the biggest industry on this planet. And 30% from there, 20% I will go into investments like commodities, or I will go into investments like where I know I can get quick money.
Okay.
And 10% other diversifications like crypto assets or any other asset I want to build around me. So that's 40, 30, 20, 10. So you need to diversify your portfolio in a way, secure, little bit of risk, and something which you know about, you're passionate about. And at this last, something where you say, okay, it's a quick opportunity for me. I'll keep less money into that because you don't know about that. So that's the best way of diversification, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay. So for someone like me in real estate, obviously that's my passion. So that's my 40% done, and I know about that market. But then what about, I'm not well versed in financial markets and even the other side, commodities. And would you say I should go and learn these skills?
Even learning is of course one of the best things. There are a lot of mentors out there. You can take their guidance. There are a lot of experts out there. You can take their guidance. You can always take someone's guidance and work along that.
Okay.
Someone who got a track record, someone who have done it.
Yeah.
You can take advice from them.
Because a lot of people right now, I feel, are just following a trend. There's a trend, there's a hype, and I've done it myself.
I heard from a lot of people, trend is your friend. But you need to understand what trend you should follow. Sure. You can't just blindly follow everything.
Yeah. No,
You
that
need to
makes
have
sense.
some sort of basic knowledge.
Okay. That's really interesting, Lakhi. I mean, even in the real estate industry, I'm seeing a lot of diversification within the industry itself. I mean, a lot of developers now have opened up to other channels like accepting cryptocurrencies to purchase property. And I know a lot of investors who deal in this industry in terms of crypto, they like to even use digital assets instead of the traditional banking route as well.
100%, I agree. And that's probably one of the best technology we ever collaborated, because there's two assets. One is your solid physical asset you can see, you can touch.
Yeah.
Another is your crypto, it's a digital asset. They both are assets. Now, combining two large joint assets, tech-driven assets now, it's become like that's something technology and asset tech-driven. So crypto is one of the best development
Okay.
in this era, and it's best for people who want to transfer larger funds. So crypto is instant transfer.
Okay.
And that's why real estate and countries like UAE or Middle East or the countries, bigger countries, they're accepting that because they know that the future, this is the future going forward.
Of course.
So sooner you adapt, better for you, and you can transfer larger investment in seconds.
No,
And
I think
it's very convenient for me as an investor. It's very convenient for me.
I mean, it's convenient, but I think it's made a difference to new real estate
Correct.
because it is faster.
So it's like transferring one asset to another asset.
Of course. And in Dubai, obviously, with the real estate developers, some are still not there. I think slowly we're seeing more
I think
and more
we'll
developers.
see a huge difference in the next few years. It's already the move. It's already there now. So it's about transform. It's already transforming. Actually, it's just about accepting that this is the future going forward rather than traditional banking.
Of course.
And I've noticed one other thing. All these big investors, they actually coming to Dubai and they're getting everything. They're putting all their money into the real estate sector. What do you think about that?
That's a great question, Lakhi. I think a lot of investors in Dubai do go all in on property. And that's because of the prices in the last few years. You've seen what's been happening in the market. So they see it as, a safe, high growth industry. And to be honest, real estate has given great investments over the last few years. But I always tell my clients it's important to have a plan.
Of course. You need that.
I mean, not just buy for the sake of it.
True. And I agree with that, because when you have that a plan in place, you know what you are getting out of it and what you're planning to do and what your exit plans are.
Exactly. So real estate is great. I put my money where my mouth is when it comes to off plan in Dubai. However, I now know you need to be more strategic. So I always advise my clients to buy in the right locations, right developers, and at the right time.
And that's very important as well. Because
Definitely.
right timing and right place is very important than what to. Sometimes we think, okay, this might be right, but might not be right for us. But you need to do your analysis on that.
So I think, just to add to that, I think choosing the correct developer, just so that when you come to selling the property, there is demand for it. Whether you're going to keep it or not, you want to know that the capital appreciation is locked in.
Agreed.
Another point that is important to me is you get what you pay for. And I think this is in life as well as Dubai real estate. So, going for the cheaper properties or these discounts and incentives sometimes is not the best outlook.
True, and I agree with that. And it's very important to understand you should invest, but you should invest wisely at the same time.
Exactly.
Like you said, development side, you mentioned about new things are coming ahead. But at the same time, I would say you need to diversify that too.
Of course.
Because what investors need to understand, or me as an investor, what I would look into, okay, I need to keep my cash flow as well. I need to keep my liquidity as well. So that's very important. And going all into one is not right even for people. So I think it's all about understanding how much you're willing to invest and what risk comes with that even. And also you might own $1 million property, but if you need cash tomorrow, then...
No, that's true. A lot of my investors, they do ask me, and this is where I come in to help investors. Because just in real estate itself, I mean, like I say, look, the diversification, it is putting all your eggs in one basket if you buy a villa or let's say a townhouse. However, I mean, in terms of rental yield versus capital appreciation, even that is diversification.
100%. And that's one of the best way, like as an investor, you should always look at the long-term plan. Real estate is a long-term plan, but alongside, you need to plan well. It should not be the only plan.
Of course, yeah.
It's a long-term plan, but should not be the only plan, you know. So that's why me as an investor, as an entrepreneur, I always look multiple ways of doing things.
So I think the main thing is, look, the market has been rising over the last few years. A lot of investors have made money overnight. Yeah. That market has shifted now, where this is why I say in terms of having a strategy, and like you mentioned, exit strategy is important.
Do you still think there's a stable growth, or is it still hype at the moment? What do you think about that even?
Yes, definitely. I do see the prices going up and up and up. And obviously a lot of investors say there's a lot of supply in the market, seeing a lot of construction. However, due to the government's agendas, obviously there has been a shift. This is since 2023, when the government announced the 2040 master plan, doubling the population, doubling the economy means more infrastructure is needed. And hence there is more demand, and that's why the roads should get better. Properties are obviously getting better as well, not just, you know, what we've seen in terms of supply, but actually, you know, the tech side, which I know you love. So the tech getting better in the properties, the communities getting better, and also this whole in terms of nature reserves and how green they want Dubai to be. And this is what is all changing. So I think it's a different Dubai. I don't think we're in this.
I've seen personally a lot of difference, because I've been coming here from 15 years now, and I've seen a big change. Imagine someone coming here from 15 years and the shift, the person I've seen that growth myself.
Of course.
Yeah.
So. And the amount of expats here, like myself, I mean, obviously I moved here for real estate. However, I found by living here, I have found that it gives me a better lifestyle. It gives me a better life. Obviously, I've got the sunshine compared to London. There's a lot of advantages I'm finding, and it's not just the tax incentives. It's not just the investment side. It's actually lifestyle. And I know a lot of expats are now seeing that in terms of safety for your children. And that's a big shift. And this is what is stabilizing the market as well.
So Meg, you in Dubai from a while now, and you into the real estate sector. You as a specialist in real estate, what do you think about this market here? And is there any new trends coming? Is there any new opportunities? Like me as an investor, or any other investor should be looking at?
I mean, obviously everyone knows Dubai's market has been strong for the last couple of years now. We've seen a lot of demand from international investors, and I think it's the global market that is, you know, still strong for Dubai. I mean, prices have been rising, especially in luxury, you know, high-end properties, because we are now number one for millionaires coming here. But then we do have the more affordable sector as well, where people are buying multiple and maybe diversifying between, you know, mid-range and, you know, more affordable category. I mean, luxury properties and waterfront properties have been doing really well. However, I think a lot of investors do concentrate, especially if they are first-time investors, they do seem to concentrate on owning something a little bit more luxury, thinking they'll get higher returns on investment. Sometimes this isn't the case, and going for something a little bit more, you know, it depends on location, and that's why location is key. And the mid-range properties are still doing really well, and it can even give you a higher yield than some of the more luxury sector.
I agree with that.
So just to add to that, one big trend is the shift towards holiday homes and short-term rentals. And, you know, investors are using Airbnb apps. They're buying a property with the view of these high rental yields. And obviously this is against the more traditional long-term contracts. I mean, with tourism booming,
it's another way of making money too. Short
it
way
is
of making-
diversification, definitely.
Now you're getting quick income.
No, definitely. I totally agree with you. And then the other side is obviously the government's visa incentives, which are helping, more global investors come in as well and have other reasons to purchase real estate, making it attractive for global investors, definitely.
And absolutely, Dubai has been very hot spot for all these big investors even. It's not just for the money side. It's, I think, quality of life even as compared to what they see on the other side of the countries. And also, like different regions have different cycle, different investments and different way of doing things. What do you think? What makes Dubai the best for investors?
Obviously I'm from London, so I can talk from experience myself and the reason I came here, but I do deal with a lot of international investors, especially from US, Europe as well. And I think there is a shift. Okay, like I was saying, it was about tax savings, so the tax incentives. There's no income tax here, no capital gains tax. But apart from that, I think it makes a difference in terms of the lifestyle. Lifestyle is important, weather is important, because places like the UK, it makes a difference in terms of what you do.
We know that in there.
What you do for work and in your free time. And the other shift is safety for your children.
Correct.
Obviously now Dubai, the agendas do concentrate on education. They're trying to have more global talent from within rather than globally, but this may take a little bit of time. But it's expats that are coming here for a better life, it's not just work, because obviously if your head office moves here, you have no choice but to move here, but then your family will move here as well, so you want to make sure that in terms of the family it is a good lifestyle. And this is what I think a lot of people have a 1-year plan to come here, like myself, and then end up staying because they start realizing that it is a much better place obviously, I have a lot of love for London and I will never forget London, but I'm just saying in terms of what this city gives me, and I think it's only going to get better and better and better, especially with the government backing real estate, backing the employment industry. They're backing everything because they want to double the population. If they want to double the population here, then they have to, make sure the infrastructure is here for people that are coming in.
I can see the difference even, because me living in London as well, living in the UK and coming here in Middle East countries quite often for business, I can see the difference in both lives. Because you can only see the difference when you in both countries at the same time. You're living here for a month and going back there and living there as well and coming back here again. So you can see a huge shift. Mindset is different. People over there, they think differently.
Definitely.
Because their lifestyle is different.
I feel like Dubai is the place for a business mindset, for entrepreneurs, but people who are just want more. There is that feeling of people also, chasing something.
I will also look what's around this area. Another Middle East country, because I'm focusing a lot in Middle East countries, and I've been traveling a lot in Middle East countries. What I've noticed is that a lot of other big opportunities are coming ahead in next few years. Saudi, there's another big thing coming soon. Their Saudi Vision 2030 Football World Cup is coming there. They're investing so much in the infrastructure.
No, of course.
Bahrain, very underrated.
Sure.
But trust me, that's another upcoming.
Okay.
They're investing a lot of money in the infrastructure.
Okay.
The government is investing a lot of money. So there's so much going on in Middle East countries. Of course, Dubai is the leading example for them.
Sure.
They have done it.
But I think this is a place for opportunity.
Correct.
And they always say,
But that's a long term. It's already there. But that's someone who's really willing to do something long term. That's another thing. To diversify.
Sure, diversification.
Correct.
Makes
so
sense.
Here you go. Yeah. Because you don't want to invest in one country only.
Of course. And I think on a personal level, I've invested in London. I have investments in London, but now I've come to Dubai, and this is another form of diversification. It is in real estate, of course. I would love to know more about the financial markets and be able to diversify even further, because as you say, look, it is cash flow, having some liquidity to pull out. But I think in terms of, I mean, a lot of my investors, the clients that I deal with are in the financial markets, but then they pull out, they will probably make some good money and then they eventually put it into real estate.
It's the best way of doing it. And, but you need to understand both. If you look in the Western countries and look in the Middle East countries, there is a difference. Because being into financial market myself, even what I do, I make money from financial market and reinvest into real estate as my safe haven.
No, that makes sense.
Because it's something solid, safe there, but there is different style. When you look at UK market, investment over there, the big giants, like all these big banks, they're investing heavily into real estate because that's more institutional thing.
Of course,
small investors are looking at the small buy-to-let properties. Sure. They buy a property, rental income is coming, so that's another way of doing it for them. But in this side, it's for quick opportunities here.
It's much higher growth, obviously higher risk, higher reward.
Yeah.
However,
that's more stability. Like
more
UK or Middle East, the UK and European countries give more stability and
slow, steady growth.
Yeah,
and I
think
that's
so when it comes to this
market,
side, it's more about opportunities here, basically. So it's
and that's depends. Why I think in off-plan, I mean, we talk about flipping. I don't really like that term, but people getting in and out of the market because there is the off-plan side. Whereas in the UK and London, when I have been in real estate for 10 years in the UK, and off-plan isn't a big thing there, in terms of.
It's right, and you're right with that. But the only thing is now you need to see there's a lot of things coming there as well. London, of course, is very expensive. It's definitely not the first-time buyers. It's too expensive for them. But me as an investor, me as an entrepreneur or into real estate, I always look what's around the area.
Sure.
Luton, Birmingham, Manchester.
Yeah.
There's so booming, so much there. HS2, and there's so much coming. And the government investing so much money into those cities. So there is opportunities there. There's things that are coming there. Even again, like I said, same thing here.
Yeah.
But there's different mindset there, honestly. So here is different mindset. Over there is different mindset.
And it's new. I feel like Dubai is the newer London.
Yeah.
How London maybe was X
amount of city because trust is there. It's a financial hub.
No, of course. And that's why I think a lot of people are, it's being seen as a safe haven.
Correct.
So to park your money. But then obviously with so much growth.
Because of government safety, yeah.
And long-term trend is up.
Correct.
I know the markets can never just keep on going up. However, longer term, if you look at it, and this is maybe diversifying once again,
in multiple countries.
In multiple countries.
In case something happened to one country, you go ask it to another country.
No, of course. And I think just having an exit strategy like we talk about in Dubai, it is it's diversifying as well because if you have enough to spread your risk and
always you should it doesn't matter if it's a quick opportunity or not, you should always look for long term.
Definitely.
Property assets are always long term. Even financial market, it's about long term. I always guide my people, like whoever learns from me as a mentor, even I guide them that it's you should always take as a long term. There is no anything which comes quickly won't last for long. Let's take it like that.
I say to my investors, let's look at the market 2 to 4 years, maybe even longer.
Yeah.
However, happy days. If it keeps going up and you've got that opportunity to flip, but don't come into the market with a mindset of 6 months to 1 year.
No.
It may happen, and you know what? I really hope it does. But just to take out the risk when we were, and this is any investments, to take out the risk, we look at it longer term and we see what happens.
Should always look like I said, Dubai market is accepting crypto a lot, but again, it's an asset. Mm-hmm. But you should look at it how asset works basically.
Sure.
If you made your money, take your capital out and reinvest somewhere else. Now you're playing with the profit. No emotion attached.
No, exactly.
That's another way of doing that because that's the way of managing risk. Long term, everything's long term, but you should understand meaning of long term. Long term doesn't mean that hold it for 10 years and don't do anything, don't take anything out. Take your liquidity out.
I think this is the difference between new investors in the market because they do go in with emotion and, that's quite normal. If you're starting off, that's all your money. Of course, you're going to be emotional about it. But I think, investors that have been in the market a long time, they learn how to get detached.
But also, I think it's very important. It's about guidance, basically. Guidance is very important. Doesn't matter you're new or you should always... either you should be investing your time in that, or you should have someone by you who can guide you basically the right direction. It's like having a navigation.
No, 100%. I mean, in real estate, definitely. But then in financial markets, I mean, for someone like me, yeah, I would need a mentor to guide me.
Yeah.
And I understand even in real estate, if Dubai is new for you, then 100%. I mean, I truly believe in have a strategy. Don't just go in blindly and just buy for the sake of it because it, you know, these prices look good or it looks pretty in the pictures. So definitely agree with you there, Lakhi.
And also there's something I would always look into. Doesn't matter you're a new investor or you're old, you should always see where your cash flow is. You know, that's something you should look at. And at the same time, you should come up with your investment plan and liquidity plan.
Okay.
So your investment growth, basically. So one thing you should understand is where your cash flow is, means your daily income. Like you talked about Airbnb and all these rental properties before. That's your cash flow.
Of course.
Now you're getting money daily, weekly, monthly.
Yeah.
Your money is coming back. Then your investment plan, where you're buying an asset, you're holding it, the appreciation of that property, or you're buying a stock, appreciation of that. That's your investment plans.
No, that
and
makes
then
sense.
at the last is your liquidity. Something you can invest and can take your money out quickly. Every investor should have this sort of planning, where their money is going, and what liquidity and their cash flow. Because your last bit, your liquidity is very important for me. That's very important for me.
Definitely.
Because I can invest into crypto. I know I can take my money out.
100%.
Or you're holding commodities like gold. I know I can take my money out.
Yeah.
Whenever I need it.
No, it makes sense.
So that should be part of your planning even. You should diversify your income or your money, your investment in a way that it's split into these three sectors.
100%. I diversify a lot myself in terms of real estate, but I think you're opening my mind in terms of there's more out there.
There's more out there, correct.
To diversify with.
Even in the real estate, there's a lot
risk.
out there. Don't invest into one area. Something happened, you're screwed. Imagine there is a war tomorrow.
Of course. But I think the message here is there's a lot of different, assets and industries to put your money in. Correct. And to diversify. But I think it is key, like you said, to having the right mentor, having the right knowledge, having the right strategy to be able to do this and deploy it. Yeah. Of course.
Someone who have done it, like at the same time, it's not just about knowing it. Someone who have knowledge about that even.
Or even, learning yourself. Because a lot of people do. You can learn.
Of course you will make a mistake, but it's a part of the journey.
And we have YouTube now. So
it makes
it makes it a little bit easier. Yeah.
I invest nearly 2 hours a day. That's my investment into me. Like you should invest into yourself. That's my investment. My average is 1 to 2 hours a day investing into myself, what I'm learning new every day.
Learn. Okay.
Either it's a financial market, or it's a real estate, or mentoring, or anything, guidance, or something I can learn more.
No, that's fantastic. There is no ceiling, I think, to learning as well. So.
No, there's not. I take learning as a sky, there's no limit.
And then you can teach us what you learn. So
learning is all about teaching others.
No, exactly.
It's all about that. So because more you learn, more you teach, and more you learn actually, because I might learn something from you.
Of course. And it influences a lot of people around you as well. I mean, when you're investing or doing certain things, then people want to know, or, and if you have people around you and you want to, tell them this is how you do it, of course, you can help so many people around you as well.
100%. I agree. And it's all about guiding and learning from each other,
This has been such an insightful conversation, Lakhi. Before we wrap up, any final thoughts?
I would say, it's been great. It's been great. But I would say one thing in that. Look, wealth is not about luck. Investment is not about luck. It's about having a right technique, right planning, and right risk management, along with your discipline.
Of course.
I always say this to every investor or anyone who take mentorship from me, that don't come with the mindset of, I'm going to get rich quickly.
It'll be easy.
Long-term plan, have some sort of plan with you, your exit plan, your risk management. So don't follow everything blindly. Make your plan and go from there.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, Lakhi. If you've enjoyed today's episode and want to stay updated with smart investment strategies, Keep following Smart Investor Talk. We'll be back with more insights and expert discussions. Stay smart and keep investing wisely.